The buyers getting the best deal right now on new construction all across the upstate aren't the aggressive ones, they're the prepared ones. With builders all across Greenville and Spartanburg, South Carolina sitting on inventory and chasing down numbers at the end of each quarter, the difference between finding a good deal and a great one can actually come from figuring out where the flexibility actually lies. Today I'm going to be pulling back the curtains on how builders actually think, where they'll move and where they won't, and exactly what to ask for to ensure you walk out with the best possible deal. And be sure to stick around to the end, because I'm going to be sharing a few secret menu items that you can ask any builder for that no one's really talking about and that actually gets approved. So I wanted to start out with something that might surprise you just a little bit. A lot of buyers walk into a model home kind of thinking they're just on some used car lot. Most people show up, they're ready to negotiate hard. They take a huge swing straight at the price, and at the end they walk out thinking they've actually won. But truthfully, they didn't, because here's what the builder's sales rep who's sitting in the model home actually knows before you even walk into the door. They already know what gets you excited. They know what's going to get you to say yes, because the truth is they do this every single day. And the truth of the matter is, they're not a bad guy. You want to buy a house, and of course they want to sell one. So of course it's easy to think that it's a win-win situation for everybody. But if you walk in without having an understanding of how they actually think, it's like showing up for a chess match and not fully understanding how all the pieces move and how they work. And so here's kind of what I've learned working with buyers on new construction homes all across the upstate. The people who are getting the best deals aren't necessarily the ones who are coming out swinging. A lot of these people come in with a humble spirit, a clean ask, and an understanding of what actually makes the builder move. That's going to be the shift. And once you make it, the whole conversation actually changes. So if you're shopping new construction anywhere in Greenville, Spartanburg, or anywhere in the upstate for that matter, and you want to feel like you have someone in your corner who's having these conversations every day, feel free to reach out. We'd love to help. I'm Gary with Homes Ever After, and we help home buyers and sellers all across the upstate, Greenville, Simpsonville, Spartanburg, and Western North Carolina. And on this channel, we kind of cut straight through the fluff. We talk about things that actually matter to help you ultimately make the best decision possible. All right, so let's dig in. This is how this stuff actually works. Every builder has a sales target. Monthly, quarterly, yearly, everybody's got a target in mind. And to be honest with you, there's real consequences in them not hitting their numbers. And an end of quarter at a community sitting on a bunch of inventory is a completely different conversation than walking into a community where they haven't broken ground yet and they don't really have a lot of invested or home sitting on the market just yet. And it helps tremendously to know which one you're in before you ever say a word, because those two situations require two different approaches, and walking into the wrong one with the wrong energy can actually cost you big. And honestly, you've got some builders out there who are just rigid. They sit on an incentive, they offer it to everybody, and there's not really a lot of swaying on that part. Meanwhile, you've got others who kind of give their sales agents a little bit of flexibility to work with, some additional savings that they can pass on to you. It's just real important to know which ones you're dealing with. And this is honestly where having an agent who's working with these builders on a regular basis can really pay off for you. Because honestly, we already know these are conversations we're already having. These are deals that we're already seeing approved for our buyers. And so we know what's working, we know who to ask and what to ask. And this isn't just something you can Google or ask ChatGPT about. And here's something that a lot of buyers miss or don't truly understand. Builders try to protect their base price because they have 40 other lots to sell based off that same comp. If you drop the price on one home, it affects every other future home that they sell. But the truth is there's money inside the transaction. Oftentimes it shows up on the back end at the closing table. And this is where things can really move and be beneficial to keep your out-of-pocket a whole lot lower. This is where things can actually move. Things like rate buy-downs, closing cost credits, appliance packages, and some other incentives. Various upgrade, and honestly, where much of the flexibility lives. This is where you ask for the deals, not off the list price. Another important thing is to hunt the inventory homes, the orphans, the ones that have been sitting and around for a little while. If you walk into a community and you find a home that has way more upgrades than all the other ones around it, this is one where your ears should probably perk up a little bit or wasn't necessarily expecting. And while they won't necessarily volunteer that information, this is often where some of the best deals lie. And honestly, you can usually tell. Walk 2 or 3 inventory homes in any given community, and then you see one that looks like someone else clearly designed it and added a few extras to it. But then something happened. They changed their mind, maybe financing fell through, and now this home is ready again. That's your signal. And when you're ready to make your ask, keep it clean. The phrase should be pretty simple. I'll sign today if Then you get to fill in the blank and be very specific, but be realistic and stack your ask strategically. And let them be the ones who tell you no, or maybe counter something else that's still beneficial and works in your favor. Don't show all your cards right off the bat. And whatever you do, please don't tell the sales rep that this is the most beautiful home you've ever seen. The more you ooh and ah, the more leverage you actually lose. But don't come in too aggressive. A lot of these agents are great people and they'll honestly go to bat for you, especially for people they enjoy working with. Don't lead with emotion, don't ask for everything all at once, and don't assume just because it's some big national builder that there's no relationship involved or there's no emotion involved, because most time there usually is. And remember that secret menu that I mentioned early on? Well, let's dig into it, because these are some things that a lot of builders quietly say yes to that most people don't even think to ask about. These can sometimes be things like appliance packages, refrigerators, washers and dryers, window treatments, blinds throughout the entire home. Sometimes you don't really understand how many windows are there until you start counting them room by room, which can add up pretty quickly. There's temporary, there's permanent rate buy downs, and sometimes looking at those numbers, you might discover a better option than what's just on the marketing material. Of course, you've got the closing cost contributions and how creative the lender can sometimes get with those numbers. And I've even seen some landscape, flower upgrades, some additional sod. You never know if you don't ask. And the thing is, none of these are guarantees. Sometimes it's really a case-by-case situation. How long a home's been sitting on the market, the longer the home sits, the more it's costing the builder. But you'd honestly be surprised how many times a builder says yes if you just know what to ask for. And the truth is, this simple ask costs you nothing, but it can end up saving you thousands in the long run. And if you want to see which one of these makes the most sense for the communities that you're looking in, reach out. These are conversations that we have all the time, and we'd love to help. And of course, no pressure whatsoever. So just to sum everything up, honestly, the best savings isn't always in the base price itself. While the flexibility there can sometimes be pretty firm overall, the biggest savings are going to come in the closing costs, in the rate buy downs, in those extra incentives and things that we ask for behind the scenes and at the closing table. Come in with a humble spirit, a realistic number, and a goal that's achievable and a win-win, honestly, for everybody that's involved. And always be firm and realistic when you say, I'll sign today. And if you do these things and you approach the deal and the negotiation in such a way, you'll walk out in a better position than 90% of the buyers who are buying new construction today. And if you've got a question about any community in Greenville, Spartanburg, or anywhere across the upstate, drop it in the comments down below. I read every single one of them, and I'd love to point you in the right direction. And if you want to see which upstate communities are sitting on the most inventory right now and where the real negotiating leverage is this quarter, give me a call and we'll walk you through all those best deals as well. Until the next one, take care.